There we go. Hello and welcome to another edition of the College Football Mafia, Bombers Blitz. I'm coming back with a little bit of post-traumatic stress from vacation that really it ended way too early. I didn't add myself to the screen. Everybody's looking at my stupid placard. So I appreciate everybody sticking with me tonight. And hopefully we can have a little bit of fun. I am trying to, this won't be a super long show. In fact, you guys might want me out of here. If everybody quits watching, I'll tune out early. But as far as I'm concerned, I wanted to kind of wrap it up and put a bow and put this little present under the tree as we walk away from what was the pre-house settlement agreement and the approval from Judge Wilkin and the post world that is certainly on its way. I think it's something that we all have something to look forward to. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've been doing for the last 3-4 years, but everybody knew something had to change. Now, is this the thing, right? And I got to tell you, when the news dropped shortly after I had to leave early on last Friday to get ready for vacation, the house settlement stuff right at 8 o'clock my time at least hit the timer. It hit the wires, and I was like, you have got to be kidding. In fact, I was so upset I yelled, and I don't think anybody was around me at the time, but my wife came and checked on me and said, hey, what's going on? And I was like, well, look, this thing we've been working on since basically one of the reasons why I wanted to start the channel was to talk about these type of issues, these big picture business and college sports matters drop the night I have to leave on vacation. It was like the world, the universe was striking out at me and were basically telling me, yeah, there's something wrong and you could have fixed it. And it's not where you needed it to be. And now here I'm punishing you. No, of course, that's not true. Claudia Wilkin decided to give everybody a special present as they do on Fridays, generally in the news, do a Friday news dump, get it out to the world and let the world digest it for more than 48 hours, more than 48 hours, certainly, and see what everybody thinks about it. In my opinion, it needed to happen. It was expected to happen. There were no surprises that it was going to happen. But it is a big deal when we talk about where we go from here. And that really resides, that focus, that energy really resides on whoever's doing the assessment. As a BYU fan, I am cautiously optimistic. I don't think BYU is not going back under the covers. So I don't care who you are, Utah fan. We're back. Your 2 Rose Bowls was great. Your program has history, but BYU and Utah are back on an even keel now. They're both in the same conference, and unless conference affiliation changes in some way, shape, or form, these 2 schools are going to be hooked at the hip, and they will continue to be hooked at the hip. They're connected by so many different pieces of college sports lore and history that it will never be separated. And it's an important issue that we continue to talk about. Where does Utah come up with their money and how much NIL they have? I believe that I haven't had a lot of time. I just got back from vacation late last night, so I haven't had time to dive into a lot of the post-house settlement notifications that have gone out. But I believe Utah came out, and is it Involve? Is that what it is? Or Evolve, I think maybe. They're going to be doing a relationship that maybe will bring, if not additional monies, it will bring them additional support for their athletic program so that they can continue to survive in a very dog-eat-dog world that requires a lot of money to function, and that would be college football and college basketball. And where that ends up, who knows, right? I think that program could help Utah quite a bit. I don't think BYU is going to need as much of that, and I don't need to tell everybody why that's the case. There are some natural, inherent abilities that Utah can or BYU can tap into that aren't necessarily, on a strictly speaking standpoint, I think they have boosters. They just aren't writing a lot of checks right now. And I'm not sure why that is. They've got very famous families, even named institutions up on the hill in Salt Lake City, that they give all their money to other places. It's not Utah athletics. So these two programs are going to be hooked at the hip, and it's going to continue to be that way. Utah and I look at the current issues in Congress and trying to push through extremely stringent, I would say retrospective legislation. And we'll get into this in the coming days and weeks about congressional oversight and codifying the law. That is, now let's be perfectly frank. The House settlement isn't law, right? It's not a law. It's not like anybody went in and voted for it. It comes from the judge's desk, and it's broken out, and now it is a referral that legal entities can use to say, see, this happened. Judge Wilkin did this years ago, and this is what we're going to now base this judgment on going forward. But it needs to have law behind it, which is what college football has missed forever, or college sports in general has missed forever. And the minute that the antitrust exemption was stripped away from college sports, it's been a new world. And who wants to go back to the old world? Well, for me and my house, we are in support of paying players. Now, whether that's through the university and NIL or Jimbo Bob down on the corner, I think players should be paid, and they should be able to desire a fairly hefty fee for going out and representing a school and a conference and a sport. Because they are absolutely, they've been taken advantage of for decades and decades and decades. And now's the time when these players can take advantage of those things, right? I've been for that since the moment I heard what it could even be a possibility. The only time I heard of paying players was the SMU Pony Days, Eric Dickerson, bags full of cash, a nice Corvette, and everything else that came with it. Obviously, they were called out, and there were many other programs that were doing the exact same thing. They just weren't held to account. And we can talk about in a history lesson at some point why that's the case, but there's no reason to, because it's now, long, long past. And I think it is going to be something that is going to be a moving target, in my opinion. I don't think we just need to tell players they can't have money and a $600 fee, or else you turn around and report it. So let's talk about some idiocies of that requirement, which I think is ridiculous. And I will continue to think it's ridiculous, and I don't care who you are. I'm happy to debate you on the topic. It's stupid that you have to have a college basketball or football player that they're already really busy, right? On top of everything they do post-curriculars. They spend quite a bit of time still, at least up to today, in class and practicing, doing weight training, being in all the other things they need to be relevant in their chosen sport that they're participating in. That takes a lot of time, and the schools are getting a lot of money off their backs to turn around and say it's to the school's detriment if they're not able to control their players so that they hold their players accountable for reporting any deal, NIL deal, that is more than $600. Well, I can tell you right now, this second, there will be billions and billions of interactions between players and all the people that are in a fan base that are going to be way more than $600. The $600 is a ludicrous amount. It needs to be something like $20,000. It needs to be something that's reasonable. It shows that the school and all of house all of the settlement and where that money's going, where that is going to, and how much it actually costs to do business. I'm telling you right now, there are going to be some dinner bills that these players go out to dinner that is comped to them that runs more than $600. Anybody who expects any kind of watchdog group within a university to be able to track each one of those events down without any additional money from the NCAA to pay for somebody dedicated for the piece or that action oversight is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I don't know why the schools signed up for it. There was desperation. I get that there was desperation by all. I think more desperation by the NCAA than the individual universities, but the conferences have a little bit to do with that. But $600 is just wrong, and any additional law that should support House, in my opinion, needs to roll that back. $600 is non-functional. It doesn't work, and I guarantee this next season, every school in America will miss those interactions, and they won't hear about them. And the only way you'll hear about them is somebody that's the maitre d' will take a copy. They'll take a cell phone picture of somebody's bill that they saw star A sitting over at table 2, have this massive $1,200 meal, and the player didn't turn around and report it. That's how we're going to find out about these issues. It's not going to be from the players. And anybody who's asking an 18 to 22, 23-year-old student athlete or even young adult to be 100% accurate on those is just asking to be lied to. They're just asking to be lied to. So now who are the schools that are going to really pay attention? Oh, I can tell you the one that I represent is going to do everything they can to do it. And yet I'm going to still say, and I would be happy to sit down with Brian Santiago, who I'm not sure on, by the way, whether you're a BYU fan or not. Brian Santiago, the new AD at BYU, I'm not sure. I think the jury's still out on how well he's going to do. He's got a lot of big shoes to fill. I gave him all the runway to get it done and be successful. But I've heard some stuff in the public he said recently, which kind of tells me he might not be fully aligned with where everybody else is in Cougar sports. Anyway, it's going to be impossible. It is literally going to be impossible to track all these transactions. Impossible. With a capital I, anybody can come back and prove to me that I'm wrong. I'm happy to put you on the air, and I will let you yell at me for an entire hour in public for the whole world to see and prove to me why I'm wrong, because I'm not wrong. It isn't a non-zero chance. It is a zero chance that we're able to make this work. So what's going to happen? And again, we're talking about post-house. Everybody knew I was going to rant tonight, so I'm just going to rant. I've been gone for a week, haven't anybody to talk to, haven't talked to anybody on the phone. So this is the stuff I would have covered in the last 7 days, and now you're getting it tonight. To do enforcement of $600 transactions, or for that matter, even larger, this whole fair, what is fair? Can somebody define to me what fair is when we're talking about fair market? Because I guarantee you, an athlete at UCLA in LA, if not the most, one of the top 5 most expensive places to live in all of America, if not the world, and fair market in LA is the same as fair market in Arkansas. Nobody's been able to show to me, and the reason I know this nobody is because nobody on my consigliere group, and everybody knows who those people are. These super smart lawyers and financial analysts that we've had over the last 2 years have come on, and I'm not going to name them all because it'd take 20 minutes. There's like 18 or 19 now. It is impossible for anybody to determine what fair market is going to be. So then what's it going to turn out to be? It's going to be subjective. And the minute you add subjectivity into anything, it runs the risk of complete corruption. Complete corruption. Like the CFP last year, I would say, or the CFP the year before when Florida State got screwed. I again, nonsensical. I don't see how that's even possible to implement, let alone enforce. And yet NIL Go, gosh, I am hot tonight. I hadn't thought about this. I thought I was amped up for this show tonight, but now seeing everybody out there, and I appreciate it. I'm going to do shout outs here in just a second. But everybody here, I hope you're feeling this, because my temperature's gone up like 3 degrees. I've been so upset about all this stuff for the last several days. And NIL Go, did anybody, I don't know who posted it. Like I said, I lost track. Somebody posted screenshots of what the NIL Go website looks like. And it is absolutely simplistic. In fact, I firmly believe it was programmed in Flash. Somebody prove to me it's not a Flash application, because that's what it looks like to me. Fit, okay, dollar amount, reason. I mean, hello, we can't add some intelligence here. We can't get like intuitive. We can't try to figure out, okay, well, let's establish what's an average meal from a bunch of boosters supposed to run, if we're only talking about the piece that the player would be responsible for. I don't know, $500, $1,000. That seems like a pretty simple thing to put a dollar amount to, right? You could do that for all your families. You guys are out there. You run checkbooks. You have households to run. Don't you generally know what it costs to go to Trader Joe's to shop rather than just the local grocer down the street? How much it costs to go to Ruby's Diner? Sorry, what is it called? Ruby Steakhouse versus eating at McDonald's. Everybody knows what those are going to be, and we can pretty much always guarantee they're going to be the top end. So let's come up with a real amount. $600 isn't it. $600 is simply not it. $20,000. Let's talk about that being the threshold. $20,000 to me is a reasonable expectation that you could come up with for a local car dealership to pay a player for X number of commercials or social, getting on Twitter, social media stuff. That should be a fairly easy thing to come up with, right? If you guys had to do something like that for your kids, couldn't you come up with something pretty easy without saying that it's a zero-sum game? It's all or nothing? Again, dumb. Just dumb. And I realize Judge Wilkin was in a tough position. Very tough. How do you unwind 50, 60, 70 years of corruption, whether it's at the NCAA level, the conferences, the media? How do you wind that all up, unwind it, and then wind it back all up like a ball of yarn in the exact same way, which never fits the same container, by the way, and say you're going to fix it overnight. It's going to be here. She signed her name. It's fixed. No. And anybody who was telling you that it was going to be perfect like that was lying to you. It was never going to be like that. Ever, ever, ever. It was always supposed to be about mitigation. So let's mitigate. $20,000 for a 30-second spot and some social media, I think is reasonable. So then you say, well, Bomber, hey, what about these $1 million deals? Okay, well, let's talk. AJ DeBounce. Everybody said it was $7 million, right? Some ludicrous number BYU paid for him. It's not true. It was never true. It's all disinformation. I'm not going to say by who. I know who they are. I'm not going to call them out tonight. But the number was closer to around 3 or 3.5 million. And you know how they got there? Was anywhere between 1.5 to 2 million from BYU, the university, and the balance has been made up by Nike, I think he has a travel company that he's doing some work with. I can't remember all of the stuff he's doing on top of all of his social media. The guy's he's out there, he's working, he's humping for the money he's getting. And he's going to get paid handsomely to play basketball at BYU this fall. But it is not a zero-sum game. We need to quit. Again, anybody you're listening to that is giving you black and white answers about this is lying to your face or to your Palm Pilot, or not Palm Pilot. Wow, that ages me. Your cell phone if it's upside down. It's a fallacy. It never existed. It never will exist. And the only way that we're going to get anywhere closer to something that makes sense is we go to Congress and say, okay, let's pass a law. All right? Greg Pflugar, peek around the corner, somebody I really look up to, has been helpful in everything that I've done here. He believes in codification. He thinks that this law needs to be done and done sooner than later. And then once it's done, then pick up the pieces, right? I'm not sure how that. I struggle with that, because get it done and then fix it later has never worked in America. It's never worked. Every time we put a flawed piece of legislation together, it's continued to stay flawed. In fact, what do? We just write another law to counteract the flaws. And then those flaws are overwritten by another law. And it just goes back and forth. And now we have millions and millions of pages of legislation that a lot of them don't even mean anything anymore, because one law is overwritten another law so many times, it carries absolutely no weight. No weight. So I don't think we should be rushing in to something to take care of house. Greg and I disagree on this, and I'm okay. I'm comfortable in that space. I think he is too. But I don't think we should be rushing into anything. I think let's see how it works for the first couple of years. A lot like what they said with this last year's the first year of the CFP, right? A lot of people said, "Oh, it's just 1 year. We don't need to worry about the buys, right? Just because all 4 home teams lost the bye this last year doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen next year." No, but it's a pretty good indicator that there's something wrong with it. I think this is the exact same situation. Absolutely the exact same situation. So we're going to see a lot of reporting over the summer, and then Congress goes away, and they take like a month-long vacation, by the way. They get 2 or 3 of them a year, and we're all supposed to be okay with that. For what do they work, like 5 minutes a day or something? They're going to take their break and come back, and I'm willing to bet somebody $5 right now that nothing gets done this year, and that next year international crises might come to the fore. International crises might come to the fore tomorrow. Israel might strike back at Iran overnight. If that happens, you can forget any conversations about college sports in Congress. It's going to disappear, and you won't see it till maybe next February or March. Because we have too many other things wrong in the world to spend a lot of time on a college sports apparatus that is flat out broken. So, yeah, we'll have to see. You can tell I'm hot tonight. I hope I'm entertaining at the very least. I'll stick around. I am going to take comments and questions. I want to hear from you guys. I am not the expert. I'm going to tell you today that tomorrow, maybe 1 p.m. Eastern. Maybe 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to have Philip Shang and Ryan P. Mulvaney, both members of the consigliere group that I have. They're going to be with me tomorrow, and they're actually going to answer real questions, right? They've been on other shows. I think Philip and Ryan have both been on other national shows this week. I kind of felt a little jealous, but I kind of feel like, we're friends, and I appreciate them, and I want them to continue to be successful in the things they're doing, and I just hope that we can come back and maybe answer some questions that wouldn't have occurred to people when they did their shows at the beginning of the week. on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Time has passed and more information's come out in the settlement and whatnot. So they will be with me tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, 1 or 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Watch for that notification overnight. That'll pop up in your notifications in the morning. I'll obviously tweet out the notification as well. And we're going to talk for about an hour and a half, I would guess. And it's all going to be Q&A. And your Q's are A's, right? They're not just gonna show up and just sit here and tell you how smart they are. They want to hear from you guys. So the purpose of this show tonight was one, for me to kind of tie a bow on the pre-house settlement stuff, and but mostly it's to sell our show tomorrow afternoon, which I think will be a banger. It'll be one of the best shows we've ever had, I'm anticipating, and I invite you guys to be a part of that. So, all right. I'm going to jump back and I'm going to do shout outs. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Thursday night, non-normal. I wasn't sure I was going to do it or not, but I wanted to get it done so we had a clean page tomorrow. So I'm going to do shout outs, and then I'll do Q&A as much as you want. As things occur to me, I'll go on another rant. It'll be the way it is. And yeah, that's where we're at. So, Moen After Dark checking in, obviously. Moen ist die Nummer 1. I'm not sure that's actually how they say it. I took 3 years of German and I can't remember how to say that correctly. He's probably right. Good to see you, Mona. Appreciate you setting up the show today and tomorrow for me, Mona. I really appreciate it. Ryan Willie checking in, saying hi, College Football Mafia. Good to see you. MBM, valuable member of the College Football Mafia family and somebody who's become real power around here. We rely on MBM to keep us on the straight and narrow around here, and obviously his continued loyalty as a member of the College Football Mafia family, I really, really appreciate. I guess I'll stop watching Jaws for College Football Mafia. Boy, Jaws, that's an all-timer, isn't it? I love Jaws. I watch it at least 2 or 3 times a year. Hi, Caleb Ramirez. Hi, everyone, he says. Caleb's another member of the College Football Mafia family. Good to see you, Caleb. Thanks for your kind note in the last few days, Caleb. I appreciated seeing that. Thanks for doing that for me. Daniel Gygax checking in. Not only is a member of the College Football Mafia family, he's also a contributor, and we really appreciate everything he does for us. Hi, everyone. I believe Daniel was on last night with Becky and Moen. They had a show. I'm not going to lie, I didn't have the time to see it, but I hope they had fun. And I know they would have done a good job. Everything Texas State. Hello, everyone. Good to have you here, Everything Texas State. I'm in your corner. I've been a Texas State Bobcat since I heard there was a Texas State Bobcats. I've told that joke several times. I didn't know Texas State existed. I thought it was from a Hollywood movie or something like that, spoof or whatnot. But yeah, it may be time coming up for the Pac-12. I hope so, because I think they'll get there and they will thrive in that environment. I really believe that. Steele Austin checking in, saying, "Go Utes." Good to see you, Steele. Thanks for your help a couple weeks ago. I really appreciate you helping me on my show, and it helps keeping. It's good when BYU and Utah are on the same plane and we're not arguing. So I appreciate all your help. Good to see you tonight. BYU football, Shonsky checking in, saying, "Go Cougs." BYU football, Shonsky has been a long-standing member of the College Football Mafia family, and I really, really appreciate you. Great to see you here tonight. Mosito, let's see. Mosito X, right? Hello, College Football Mafia family. Good to see you. I know I always trip over my own words there a little bit when it comes to your name, but believe me, I do care, and it's great to see you. Almighty Finn representing. Good to see Almighty Finn. Florida State in the house. Hey, Bomber. I saw a weird report, Almighty Finn. I don't know. I'm still working on catching up on all the news. What's this thought that Florida State now Big Ten again? Is that true? I don't know. I want you to be successful wherever you go. I think the Big Ten would be my personal choice. I'm just not sure if that's going to happen or not. So we will have to see. NBM corrects me. It says it wasn't a, I would have swore it was a Corvette, but okay, gold Trans Am for Eric Dickerson. Bob Swanger in the house. Welcome, welcome Bob in here representing the Penn State Nittany Lions, looking to have a top 5 team to start the season, maybe number 1 going into this fall. And they're going to be good this year. Don't sleep on Penn State. Always been a Nittany Lion fan. He says, hello, everyone. Thanks for being a member of the College Football Mafia family. I really appreciate it, Bob. Clint Moses always coming in, holding me to account. Good to see him. Will Big 12 add SMU? Not today. Maybe in the future, but not today. That's funny. That's funny. You make me laugh. I needed that. Let's see here. Sun Devil ASU, who's become a very active member of the College Football Mafia family. Good to have him around, and I always love to see him on the shows and on Twitter. I agree that 600 is too low to go through the clearinghouse. I think they should just report that they received a deal under 600, then audit if someone gets at the, hey, there you go. See? There is a practical solution. I love it. I absolutely love it. Who the hell cares how much they spent for a really nice steak at Denny's, right? Why does that even matter in the world today? It doesn't. But it does matter if you do it over and over and over again. I love that idea. Yes, that's what we need. More good ideas like that one. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Jackson Johnson checking in. Good to see you, Jackson. A moderator in chief and has kicked around with us a little bit the last several months. We appreciate him and all the help that he provides to us. What's up, College Football Mafia Nation? Good to see you, Jackson. I appreciate it. Let's see. MBM says Mater D's can catch hands too. Daniel says $600 is the IRS reporting threshold. See, none of that matters to me. Steele has got it. $600, no Harry Potter land. It might be it might be an IRS thing. What does that have to do with college sports? I don't know. I don't want to cycle down on that. Let's get to some more shout outs here. Don in Kansas representing that great state here on the College Football Mafia show and on the College Football Mafia family. Thank you so much for your membership. We appreciate your continued loyalty, Don. And as we get ready to go into fall camp, going into the season, we're going to want to hear more from you and everything that's going on in Kansas. Both Kansas State and Kansas, I think, are interesting going to the football season this year. We'll have to track that as we get into preseason, but I appreciate you being here tonight. The important thing about establishing a new process is to ensure that review amendment process is easy and makes sense. Okay. I'm going to write that down because I don't know. Is there a review and amend? Because last time I checked, the judge set aside, put 2 hands on the pulpit and said, I'm done. If you guys want to continue to talk about this house crap, I got other things to do, like real crime, real civil offenses. You want to deal with me? Deal with my little buddy over my shoulder. I don't know if he's, I don't know who, a special master, I think was his title. I could have that wrong. Don't kill me if I get that wrong. He's the guy now who's going to be fielding all these issues as they continue to proceed. I don't know. Is there a review and amendment process? I don't know. I will ask tomorrow though, Don, because I don't know today. It's a good question though. Thank you for asking it. Devil Frog, back on YouTube. Good to see you, Devil Frog. I don't think you're quite on Twitter again, are you? It's good to see you. The OG, the original actual Mafia member. 2.8 billion. LMFAO tried 10 billion. Yeah. Okay, so let's just stop real quick and let's talk about what the latest challenges have been. Countersuits are already started. They started Monday morning, and they will continue for the foreseeable future. That Title IX, everybody knew it was coming. Nobody thought it had disappeared. And yet, all of a sudden, the NCAA and the A4 don't know nothing about it. They know nothing about nothing when it comes to Title IX and back pay. Title IX back pay and back pay in general. And so until that's resolved, or at least until it gets started in a process, again, I'll ask about this tomorrow. What does that look like? Is it being held? Because what I read in the reports, and I could be behind, but the reports I read said no back pay will be sent out until movement on Title IX and back pay has been accomplished. What does that mean? I don't know. So I'm going to write that down, right? Here I am taking notes on my own show because I can't pay anybody to take the notes for me. That's how it works anyway. Anyway, Devil Frog, you raised great questions. 10 billion, I think. Yeah, anybody who's looking at a house to be the saving grace is insane. Insane. And I'm talking to you, Wild Ute. I'm just teasing. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Conundrum. Moen said Wild Ute was going to discuss Title IX tonight. Well, I think that was he meant Friday. Two different shows. Ute was never going to be on the show tonight. He has very limited time constraints, so we'll talk about it tomorrow. And I guarantee it'll be a question that will come up not only on the consigliaries tomorrow, but definitely we will talk about 1 week post House settlement agreement. So we'll talk about it, Conundrum. I'm sorry. I think maybe it's just a slip of the tongue. Let's see here. James Davies. Oh, Davis, sorry. James Davis. Good to see you, James. It's $600 because no deal will be that low. No joke. James Davis. There you go. He knows what time it is right there. That's exactly right. And last comment, Daniel says, lol, he might have said Ute, mistaking Bomber. Yeah, that's, we look so alike. And we wear the same clothes. It's easy to mistake us. I get it. Totally understandable. It's not a problem. Devil Frog follows up. He says $2.8 billion is the House settlement for athletes from 2016 to 2024. The total amount is $10 billion. Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood what you were saying. The total amount's $10 billion, but there's a lot that goes into that settlement about Devil Frog. I don't have it all in front of me. I can't honestly recall all of it because everybody's got tied up in what was going to be the post pay. But I think we're going to find out that number's going to escalate very quickly. Might be 10 today. In 5 years, that number might be 20 or 30 billion, depending on how it's controlled and how it's managed. I don't know. I think 10 billion is low anyway. A lot of people have talked about 10 billion being a number. Sorry, 20 billion being a number. Well, if you don't have this, boy, this nightmare scenario of 20 billion could be around the corner. I would rather we're honest with each other and we say 20 billion, but it's done. Like, let's do it right. If we're going to do it, let's not cheap out. Let's not try to slip stuff past anything. Let's try to do it right. And I don't think 10 billion is enough. I don't think 2.8 was enough for the pre stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Time might prove me wrong. Maybe. Yeah, I just can't see it. I just can't see it. Moen's a great guy, and so are all the Mafia gang. I appreciate that, Conundrum. Thank you very much. I will be perfectly frank. I would have thought I've only been doing this for 5 minutes, and it's almost 40 minutes in. I am stunned. This tells you how mad I was. This tells you how mad I was not being able to involve myself the last week. So I want everybody to know that matters a lot to me. This wasn't supposed to be some big show to, produce certain this or that. It was all just supposed to be just give me an opportunity to vent. You guys being here has been awesome, and I want to continue to thank you for all that you do. It's a new age as we go into this next iteration of the College Football Mafia Network, and I think we're doing a bang up job. I would like feedback from you. I want to take this next 10, 15 minutes to really sort of let me tell everybody kind of what my vision from where we go from here. We're 3 years in with me re-engaging on my Twitter account and getting involved on social media, like in a real way. We're 2 years plus 3 months post starting the channel. You joined me the second month, and it's good stuff, right? We're doing some really good things around here, but I need more from you. I know I try to do everything I can for you. I'm hoping you can do some stuff for me. And this is a few things I want you to spend some time thinking about. I'll ask about them again tomorrow, and over the next coming, probably until July, we'll try to sort of formulate what our next strategy is going to be. But up to now, it's been about a few things, and one still outstanding. The new A4 governance still isn't done. That's not due for a couple weeks. Once that gets finished, then we really can kind of turn the page to what is post-house, what is post-A4 governance reset, right? And what that looks like, I don't know. So what I would like to hear from you guys in DMs or on the comments after the show, hell, send me an email at bigxii@gmail.com even. And let me know what you guys would like to see more of or changed or not enough of or whatever. And we're going to try to meet those needs or requests. I'm not making promises, but we will make a big effort to try to provide more continuing coverage of the things that you care about. Stuff we're not going to drop. We're not going to cover or not going to stop covering all the college sports that we all love. That's not going to change. We've never been the real data analytics, how did BYU do on 3rd and 10? Or how did Utah do? Or how did the Big 12 do? Or that's not where we've spent our energy. Our energy is in the news that drives everything that we're watching and taking in. And then how that news affects us as viewers, right? As fans. That's never going to change. But I do want to say that I'm open to looking at other things that we could be doing. If there are people that you think that we should be interfacing with, I think I'm a pretty good networker. You guys know I have no qualms about asking to work with anybody. They say no frequently, but I have no problem asking. So if there's people you think that we should be doing work with, let us know. It really makes a difference. When I say you are a part of what we do, the college football mafia nation, it is real. It is a family. The family is real. The mafia family is real. And if you think that everybody on my team doesn't look at that the same way, then you're kidding yourselves, because I promise you it is. I have 3 or 4 open DM strings on, and I get texts as well from my team saying, hey, we should be doing this. Man, we missed this last night. Oh, wow, that was a banger. Let's do that again. We do that. We're in constant, every day we are constantly talking about this stuff. I'm not going to repeat because I don't personally know it, but I've been told some stuff not the stuff, if it's coming for the Pac-12, we all know it's coming for the Pac-12, but what it actually will entail. I've been given some information that I find frankly hard to believe. I'm probably going to end up being wrong because this person who has told me this has been reliable in the past. If that happens, I will be the first one to admit I did it wrong. I got it wrong because I did. If it actually ends up being true, I would have gotten it massively wrong. Massively wrong. So that's the stuff I need from you. So please continue to leave comments on X. Send me DMs. Again, big XII mafia at Gmail. Send me an email if you can't, you don't participate on Twitter, and help us go another 2 years. Okay, let's go another 2 years and see where we end up. The thing I'm most proud of that nobody else has done, and anybody who you now see come out with it has stolen it, ripped it off flat out of my brain, and that is the consigliere's working group. And I'm going to name these gentlemen because, and ladies, because the ladies are probably smarter than the guys in general anyway. But they are the smartest people on social media. You've seen them all on not only my channel, but other channels and on social media. And each one of them needs huge shout outs. And I'm going to do that right now. So let me bring this up. And all right, I'm just going to start at the top in no particular order. Christy Dosh, who happens to be Sports Biz Miss on Twitter, is a writer for Forbes and is a legal analyst, business and legal analyst. She's one of the consigliere group. Philip Shang is a partner at a law firm, and he played pro tennis. So he's actually a pro athlete. We will talk to him about that a little bit tomorrow night. And he's an NIL IP attorney, so he deals with intellectual property. Let's see, Bill is following the money. He doesn't ask for a lot of accolades himself, but he's a PhD in economics. I'm not sure it's economics. His short on Twitter is tracking financial plays that shape the national landscape of sports, entertainment, and tourism. And he is amazing. And I would recommend anybody that wants to really get into the meat and potatoes of those particular areas, the financial parts, especially with private equity. Bill has been fantastic in regards. Ryan P. Mulvaney, he will also be on my show tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern time. He's a lawyer of litigation in sports. He does entertainment and NIL coverage is primarily one of the things he does. He's an NBA agent. We don't play around here. We bring in the best. Let's see, Danielle Kelly, the OG. Really, honestly, I think she might have been, it was Doug Rohan or Danielle, I'm not sure. Both Florida State grads, amazing legal people, both lawyers, practicing. And it happens to be that Danielle, in her own right, is an NIL attorney on top of all the other practice that she performs, and is one of the smartest people and one of the funnest people you will ever meet on social media as well. I haven't connected with Danielle in a while. I need to do that and follow up. I'll tuck that away and make sure I get that done. Darren Heitner, I think if you've been following anything to do with House and how players, and this is not going to be part of my rant tonight. Unfortunately, I ran out of time, but the ridiculousness of not paying players as employees or with some sort of collective bargaining. And I don't know what that is. There's different types of bargaining. Collective bargaining is just a catch-all term. But Darren is out there representing the players, and I think very rightly should be doing that. So he represents players as an agent. He's also an NIL instructor and somebody who has become really somebody I lean on around here quite a bit. And I hope you are following all these people on Twitter, by the way. Write them down as I'm talking about them, because each one of them is the smartest people in the room when you get to that case, unless they're all in the same room, and then I don't know who's smarter. I'll let them fight it out, I guess. Brad Blevins is he's a member of the CAPS group, is an NIL attorney and registered athlete. He's an athlete agent, and another one of these NIL subject matter experts that we love to talk to, because there isn't only one way to look at all this stuff. There's 50 different ways to look at it. Let's see here. Mitt Winter is everywhere, is omniscient. No, sorry, he's everywhere, whatever that means, the omni, whatever. Mitt is the guy who does the best collections of information and turns around and then redistributes them so that people can understand them in small bite-sized pieces. That's actually an art. Most people can't do that, especially legalese, and can't convert legalese into plain English. Mitt Winter, my whole team's really good at it. I think Mitt might be best at it. He's really, really good at taking the technical and making it sound very, very simple. And he does it for our betterment. Believe me, all of college football or all of college sports. He happens to be a practicing attorney as well, NIL, sports law. Let's see if there's anything else. And he played basketball. So there you go. All right. Let's get back to my overall list. Make sure I don't skip anybody. Doug Rohan, I think was probably the original legal analyst. Ute had one of his best friends we had on too shortly after we had our first show with Doug. I'm not sure where that went, but he was super helpful too. I can't recall his name, but I would give him credit. If I even could recall his name, I would do that. Maybe Ute will send me a note and I'll do it tomorrow. But Doug Rohan Law, practices in Atlanta, Georgia. And he has become he's captured the zeitgeist of legal analysis on social media, and he's really taken to it. On top of representing Florida State University, he does a fantastic job, and everybody should know Doug Rohan. Joe Saban, recently we've had him. He's a newer member of the team, but certainly somebody that has come out. He's actually a law professor at Boise State. And I really appreciate listening to Joe because he gives us insight on what is, for not the biggest schools, but for the smallest schools, what is the thing that matters the most to the small school? Representing Boise State, representing the G6, that's important. And I think Joe does a fantastic job, answers great questions, and has been a fantastic addition to the College Football Mafia consigliere group. A few more. Tyler Phillips, who is another practicing attorney and is somebody that's trying to get into representing specific groups in certain locations. As I recall, I think Texas was one of the main locations that he was trying to find athletes. And I would recommend anybody who is looking to pursue, if you're an athlete watching this show right now, and I don't have a lot of athletes watching our shows generally, but if one was, I would have you look up Tyler Phillips, because he's somebody who's actively seeking new clientele, and there's some new opportunities, I think, with house being settled, to see kind of where things go from here. Ryan McIntyre, another just a fantastic contributor to this working group, and has I brought in, I think, the social media, maybe the professional media-esque qualities that a group like this would require. These are people that talk to all kinds of people all day long, and their opinions matter, and we need to keep those opinions in the front of our minds when we talk about things, because media help draft, and they can really paint a picture of how messaging can be taken for some of these things that have come out recently, certainly in legal respects, for sure. Let's see here. Jeff Fuller. Everyone knows Jeff Fuller. Certainly BYU grad, somebody who's an actual PhD or an MD, somebody that practices medicine, and is I believe he does not only ophthalmology but retinal surgery, if that doesn't make your skin crawl a little bit. But he is easily, hands down, the outside of the Wild Ute, the best financial assessment guy out there. Just is. And I know you might not like him because he wears blue with a white Y, but when he puts stuff out, it's data driven, it's fact driven. And I would just recommend that everybody continue to pay attention to what Jeff does, and having him on this working group is really important as well. Let's see, am I almost? And then at the very bottom, and I don't know this guy's name, I'm going to reach out to him this next week. But For Common Sense is somebody that I'm not 100% sure what he does, so I'm not going to oversell what his background is. But he has become really somebody that brings in a flavor to what we research, what we chase down, what we pursue for information. And he's done a ton of social media posts on Twitter with everybody, a bunch of contributors on the College Football Mafia family and networks on top of the consigliere group. And I'm going to try to get him to. I need more information out of him because a lot of the information he's given out has been really interesting, and I'd like to give him more credit for the work he's done. So, for common sense on Twitter, very, very smart, and love to have him around. There are others that I haven't had time to add to this list. I know 2 or 3 legal analysts that I'd also like to bring on to this group. It's a working group. No, you cannot be invited to it, so don't ask. It's only me, Moen, and Ute that have access to this group. It's on purpose. We got to protect these people's reputations and everything they do. And it's really important that we do that in the right way. So we're not going to be sharing that with people, but I just want everybody to know that up to now, they've given us a ton of information and we've reported all of it. A lot of it you didn't even know about came from this working group on the House settlement and then Alston and everything else that's come in the past. But now we're looking forward and we need to see where's college sports go from here. And codification or any law out of Congress. Congress is non-functional at this point. Where we go with enforcement, the NIL Go ridiculous application and how it's being introduced, the $600 or any reporting requirements and that the nonsense there. The list is really, it just keeps going and going. And I want you to know we're going to continue to chase all that stuff down, and that's what we're here to do. And I wanted everybody to know that I was thinking about you this week, and I'm sorry I wasn't around to do some post stuff. I know you guys were looking and asked about me. Thanks to those that followed up. I had a wonderful vacation. Anybody that wants to go fly fishing and pay for the privilege, but the best fly fish outfitter in the state of Montana, some of the best fly fishing in the world, is my brother, Trent Brown, and he gave us some of his time this week. Sorry, that hits me when I talk about my family, but super, super unselfish of him to give my family some time this last week. And I really appreciate everything he did for us on that. And my sister Rochelle, that put us up in her house and became the best Airbnb. I give all love and appreciation to my family for giving us that little bit of time that I was able to be away with my family to do that, but then come back, and now I'm here for you. And yeah, next we just put one foot in front of the other. There's a few more comments in here that I want to read, and then we will get out of here. Wasn't asking anything from you guys tonight. I just was wanting to make sure you knew I was thinking about you, and I wanted to do this rant so that tomorrow's show, let me say it again, tomorrow's show will be the consiglieres, and that will be Philip Shang, and it will be Ryan Peeble Mulvaney, and we will be talking post-house announcement, final signature, where do we go from here? And we're going to chase that stuff down, and we'll continue to chase it down. An hour and a half probably we're going to go tomorrow. I invite you to join us. So 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time tomorrow afternoon, and I will plan on seeing everybody there. Let's really quick. Okay, this is good. Let me get this right here. Okay. This is Daniel saying you have to include Bob Thompson. Okay, so Bob Thompson's not part of the consigliere group, and I'll tell you why he's not. Because we have a strict relationship, Bob and I do, and he doesn't want to be part of anything that doesn't require him coming on every once in a while, giving us a few minutes of his time and golfing. So he's not part of the group, but certainly he deserves probably the biggest accolades of everybody that we've come across this last 2.5, 3 years, because he's lent his name and reputation to everything that we do around here. And I know he wouldn't do that. In fact, I'm positive he would pull that immediately if we did anything that would make him look bad, and we're not ever going to do that. So you're right, Daniel. I should have shouted out Bob, but it didn't really. They weren't really the same things. Anyway, let's see here. So I'm going to get through. I'm going to sort of cruise through these comments. If you want your comment to be read by me right now tonight, make it a super chat. I didn't tell you about subscribing. I didn't tell you any of that stuff at the start of the show. I just wanted to dive into the rant. But if you have a comment or question, certainly I would take a super chat if you're willing to give it to me. I'm not below begging, but tonight wasn't a time for begging. It was to come back and give you guys a report on where we're going to go in these coming weeks. But certainly, super chats are always welcome. Okay, where I flagged. Friends call me Sean. Checking in, another member of the College Football Mafia family, saying FSU trustees told after today's meeting to be prepared for emergency meeting next week. Will probably get less than 24 hours notice. No subject given. Private capital. Intent to leave. Something else? I didn't know that. Friends call me Sean. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. And now we've told the world. So look for something in the next week with Florida State. And it's, yeah, well, maybe things are finally breaking loose. House is done, and now things are starting to break loose. But thanks for updating everybody. Friends call me Sean on that. And yeah, we will have to see where that goes. Everybody knows I'm in Florida State's corner no matter what. Doug Rohan was the source. So very cool. I appreciate that. The big Lubbock checking in. What's up? It's good to see you, Lubbock. I'm glad you could pop in just to say hi tonight. I really appreciate that. Let's see here. Oh gosh, these went by me so fast. I'm sorry I didn't flag them. And I guess we'll just say this to finish the thought, and then we're going to get out of here. Friends call me Sean saying I'm looking for the video. So I guess that would have been on Vince Knoll and a Big Papa East show. Their Florida State show on YouTube. I'm sorry, their name escapes me. Anybody that knows their name, just put it in the comment section because I'm just spacing it this second. But their show is fantastic. Doug is a constant contributor there. And it would not surprise me if the video was from their show. So yeah, definitely post that link if you get it before the show's over. If you find it, I really appreciate that, Sean. And it begins. Now, tell me again who thinks anybody cares about college football? Who cares about college basketball? If this is true, and I'm Cougar, I can only take your word. I'm not watching the news, but if this has actually happened today, and they actually struck nuclear sites, then we are going to wake up tomorrow in a different world, and it sucks. Can't say it wasn't predicted, unfortunately, but anybody who thinks this college commission to pay anybody anything when all it is a club sport in the larger frame of the world. I will turn on the news. I'll turn it on right after the show, Cougar. Thank you so much. And I would tell everybody watching the show now, turn me off and go and watch the news, because this is gonna reset socio-political. Sucks we had to get here. Anyway, Cougar, thank you so much for posting that. I knew it could happen. I wasn't sure. So there we go. Appreciate it. And thank you, Cougar, for being a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. I genuinely believe your faith in me. I hope to repay you. And thank you so much for being a continued reminder of being a member around here. I really appreciate it. There was one other, and it was Garnet and Old, just so we know. Friends call me Sean says Garnet and Old show. So don't be mad at me, Vince. Papa, don't be mad at me. Ryan, don't be mad at me. I just spaced the name for a minute. You guys know I love you. And Cougar says, I love sports. I love your show and love the Cougs. Definitely love the Cougs. Let's go. All right, everybody. I'm going to check out, especially because there's more important things going on in the world right this second. And I think you should pay attention to those because they will matter in the coming days. Everybody have a great night. And we will, again, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here. We will be the Consigliere Show, Brian P. Mulvaney and Philip Shang, and we will be talking post-House settlement conclusion. And let's see where we go from here. Everybody, I want you to stay safe. Jason Spangler, boy, better late than never, Jason. Good to see you. Longtime OG member of the College Football Mafia family. We don't take you for granted, Jason. Thanks for showing up tonight. Sup. Good to see you. It was a fun show. I ranted for an hour. So if you go back and watch the replay, I think you'll enjoy it. Everybody stay out of trouble. And we will see you tomorrow afternoon. And hug your family tight tonight, because real things is happening right now. And you should be paying attention to those. Everybody stay out of trouble, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.